Good morning, and I am back after about a month hiatus, and I am up in Cumberland County, and I'm going to record a ride through Cumberland County on my way back to Cape May. So I had my bike in for servicing, and I had to bring it all the way up to a town called Bridgeton. It's the closest place to Cape May to get my Ninja serviced, and it took some time for them to get around to it, and it took some time for me to be able to have some free time to come up and get the bike. So that's why I didn't make a video in the month of April. I guess today is I don't know, May 2nd or May 3rd. I'm not sure. When you're retired, the exact date on the calendar loses some of its importance. But all of my videos are in and around Cape May. But I thought as long as I'm riding through Cumberland County, I would record this ride to show anybody that views this a little bit about what Cumberland County looks like. I don't have really any insights or comments to share about Cumberland County. I'm not really familiar with it. But it's a pretty picturesque ride, I think. So I thought somebody that's viewing this video not because of an interest in Cape May per se, but rather just to see what it's like to be on a motorcycle. This would be a pretty ride to watch. It's about almost 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a little overcast, but for the most part, a nice day. No rain in the forecast, and it's about 77 degrees right now. I'll tell you, it's nice to be back on the Ninja. All I had to ride in the month of March was my Harley, and I enjoy that, but I enjoy the Harley more for a distance ride, going back and forth to my home up in Montgomery County, rather than riding around town. Even though the Ninja is a much faster bike than the Harley, it's made for speed. It's a more nimble bike. It weighs about, I guess this bike weighs about 425 pounds or thereabouts. And the Harley that I ride is a cruiser, and it weighs about 750 pounds. So it's not quite as nimble as the Ninja is. And I thought what I would do is record the ride from Morristown, where I recorded before. There's a federal correctional prison. I recorded a ride through Cape May County before, down on 47. So, you know, I have shown that ride on 347 and 47 all the way down into Cape May, but that was several months ago, and you know, I've recorded a lot of other videos that are somewhat redundant, riding around the same town, the same scenes, just showing it at different points in time during the year. So as long as I'm going to be riding back that way anyway, I thought I would make another video of riding down through Cape May County. I forget exactly what time of year it was when I last made that ride on the motorcycle and posted the video, but for sure there's a lot more greenery to see now on the trees than there was then. Since my last video, there's been a lot of progress made on the COVID front, and I saw that the governor of New Jersey announced, I think it was yesterday, announced that this month, I think it's maybe the middle towards the end of this month, all capacity restrictions are being lifted on indoor dining in the state of New Jersey. So that is very welcome news for the hospitality industry in Cape May. One of the lingering problems of this whole pandemic that I was reading about yesterday for many of the restaurants is they cannot get help. I think you know, being out of work for so long because of the pandemic, people moved on to other employment, or they are recipients of extended unemployment benefits and stimulus checks, and they're actually making as much staying home as they would be going back to work in the as a server or something in the restaurant industry. So some of these restaurants are really challenged to staff up. Most of my rides on this bike that I record are usually going around 25 miles an hour. And here I'm doing about 55 or 60. I have a few thoughts about some additional videos that I want to make that I haven't recorded before on a couple of sites in and around Cape May. So if the weather holds up, maybe I'll do that today. I think the forecast is calling for rain tomorrow, so if it's raining, I doubt that I will get out on the bike tomorrow. But if the weather holds up today, maybe I'll do it today. I've mentioned on previous videos that my granddaughter, who is 10, is a gymnast. And one of the things that has been keeping me occupied and not being down in Cape May as much as I would like has been attending some of her meets. And they get very busy in the springtime. And her meet season is largely coming to an end. She has a meet this weekend for Pennsylvania States for the USAG. And then there's another organization that competes with USAG called NGA. And she has qualified for nationals for NGA, which is in Orlando. So I don't think I'm going to go to that. My wife and I will watch our grandson and our youngest granddaughter while my daughter and son-in-law take my 10-year-old gymnast granddaughter down to nationals in Orlando sometime in mid-June. I think one thing that I found a little bit interesting is my granddaughter's coach in gymnastics. I won't mention her name, it's not important, but she's very talented, and you could tell watching these coaches when they're able to demonstrate the skills for the girls on the apparatus. You know that they're very talented. And I actually saw some videos of her when she was on either University of Utah or Utah State. She was on their varsity gymnastics team. But I say all that because an article came out 2 days ago, and I was surprised to read this, that she is one of the victims of Larry Nassar. If you don't know that whole story, Larry Nassar was a physician. I think he was working for the University of Michigan and was the physician, the team doctor for the U.S. Olympic team. And he ended up having a history of sexual abuse against all of these young women, young girls competing for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team. And he's got a prison sentence now of about 175 years. And there's actually been a couple of documentaries about that whole scandal, because not only was Larry Nassar, and he pled guilty to this, not only was he sexually abusing these girls over many years, but the governing body was turning a blind eye, as well as the U.S. Olympic Committee, turning a blind eye to all the signs that should have been apparent to them. But anyway, I was reading an article a couple of days ago, and it was talking about this woman who is 35 now. She was 14 years old, and she was competing for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team when Larry Nassar sexually assaulted her. And I was talking about how she has struggled with the after effects of that for basically her whole life, from the age of 14 up until today. And I did not know that about her, but I have even more respect for her knowing it than I did before. And it's good to have someone like that coaching your granddaughter, someone who is very sensitive to that whole issue and the risks that these young girls face. I mean, if you think about it, imagine being a young girl who works so hard over so many years and endures all of the pain and agony and hours of practice and injuries to get yourself into a position to compete for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team, only to have an injury occur and be sent to the team doctor, and the team doctor sexually assaults you. In my opinion, Larry Nassar, who is now in prison for the rest of his life, really doesn't belong in prison, in my view. He belongs in a cemetery. I'm going to pull in here and fill up with gas before heading back to Cape May, and I will stop this video and record a separate video of that ride. If I can find a gas pump that's open. don't see one pump that's open. So I guess I'll head over to that Conoco across the street. Okay, I'm going to end this now, and I will be back with another video for the balance of the ride. Hope you enjoyed this ride through Cumberland County.